How's it going, everyone? And welcome to the Dawnbreaker Gaming Podcast, episode number 31. I am your host, Snoop603. This week, I don't feel so special, so I only introduced myself once. Joining me, as usual, is Lady Warhorse Epona, and the egotistical maniac that he is, Scanner Barkley.
Hello.
This week, we've got some more community topics to cover, probably some other stuff that will come up as usual. And, most importantly, we're giving away The Witcher 3 tonight. So, for those of you that have entered, good luck. For those that haven't entered yet, you're fucking stupid. So you might want to get on that. We are going to give it away at the end of the podcast, so you're going to have to stick around because, listen, you got to work to get your toys and your prizes and your presents.
I don't really want you guys to know this, but you don't have to be here to win. We just really like you to be here because that would be really fun and nice.
No, I'm pretty sure as co-founder of the website, I get to make the rules, and these motherfuckers got to be here.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, what I
Forget what I said.
My word is law. Pre-podcast announcements. Aside from the giveaway, we also want to remind you guys that we do have a bunch of game servers. But speaking of game servers, we have one for Battlefield 3, and funnily enough, and I'm sure he's probably smiling on the inside about this, Scanner Barkley mentioned last week that we probably should give up on the Battlefield 3 server because we're not using it, and it is fucking expensive. So, want to take a poll of those that are in the, that are in the chat right now. What would you guys like to see done with that? Because we could take the money that we're spending on the Battlefield 3 server and put that towards giveaways, which we could do once a month, and it would be pretty much a brand new game every single month. I think we're spending about...
The servers,
I forget how much we're spending.
The server's about 32. So,
oh, okay, my bad. I thought it was more expensive than that.
No, but it is the second most expensive thing. Our hosting is the most expensive thing.
Okay, so, I mean, we could...
But for the amount that we use it, we're really just throwing the money away, and it would be better suited going towards... Even if we didn't give away, like, a brand new game, we could give away something, like, especially Steam sales or gift cards or that shit. So.
Right. And I'm not saying this in the PC elitist manner, but damn, I wish everybody was on PC, because $30 goes so much farther on Steam than it does for console. But we're not going to discriminate. We will also help out those that win if they're on console. And we can make that work. You know, like I said, it might not be a brand new game, but that doesn't mean you still can't get a good game. We might get lucky, find something on sale too. But I think the general consensus is we'll probably let go of the server, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, Dark House, we saw what you had said during the Freedom DayZ stream, which, by the way, if you guys missed it, we did a very late night DayZ stream, myself and Epona, on 4th of July, and it actually went really well.
I murdered a guy.
She did. She straight up murdered a guy. I ran into the Vybor military base, fucking all like, hoity hoity ho, no one's gonna be there, I'm dead.
Well, there were only like 5 people on the server. It's like, what are the fucking chances?
There's a guy sitting right on the other side of the wall, hiding there, third-personing over it like a bitch. And he dropped me with a pistol, so I guess I'm the bitch.
You are the bitch.
I am. It was embarrassing, but it was cool, because the opponent got back in the truck and fucking hightailed it out of there. And they followed her. It was crazy. They followed her like halfway around that damn map and then ambushed her, and she killed one.
It's pretty sweet.
The opponent killed the guy.
I killed the guy with a trident.
Is that the first time you ever killed a man in DayZ?
For her? No, but it's been a long fucking time since you killed someone. Long time. Since you've killed someone that wasn't in our group. Actually, that's a lie. I was the last one to shoot you. Oh, misclicks for days. I think that's it. Yeah? Yeah, okay. Let's talk about some of these topics that we have going on. Is there anything that we want to do that was left over?
Oh, yeah, I didn't put those at the top, sorry.
No, it's alright. Ooh. Okay, leftover topic, Misled Penguin. This one looks pretty good. Who's in the green text? Oh, Tony. Tony's the only one that filled in on that.
Lol.
That's alright, we'll roll with it. Misled Penguin. Been so many games that require patches to even function properly, I've developed a next patch mentality, where I hold off till the next patch. Has there been any games that you've stopped or held off from playing for that next patch? I'm actually going to jump on this right off the bat, because I had a lot to say on this. I actually took notes for this one. Yes, DayZ. Speaking of the game we were just talking about. Oh boy. When did that last patch come out? About 2 weeks ago, they came out with the 0.57 build on stable. For anyone that's not familiar with how DayZ works, is they have two builds. They have the stable build, which anyone can play. If you boot up DayZ, you are on the stable build. And then they have the experimental build. And it's a separate set of servers. It all still works on the same structure and everything. But it's kind of like a soft launch. Like they do, they bring in a bunch of features. They build into the game. They do internal testing. And if it all looks good there, they'll throw on the experimental, where, you know, a bunch of players, and I don't think the player number is capped, can go in and play it, see how it goes. And if all is well there, then they roll it out to stable. The last patch that they had, the 0.56, like 0.5556 build, was atrocious. They're trying to bring in the new central loot economy. If you're not familiar with DayZ, it used to always be like, you go here, here, and here, and that's where you will always find X, Y, and Z for weapons. They're always fucking there. Northwest Airfield, Tent City, and yeah, Vybor Military Base are some of the three big ones. But the whole idea behind the central loot economy was that every single spawnable location had a certain chance for any item to spawn in. So there was no guaranteed, like, okay, if you want these guns, you have to go one of these locations. They literally will spawn anywhere. And it fucking broke the game bad. It was atrocious. You couldn't get any, like, the big thing was you couldn't find food. So that's where I went to the whole, you know what, I'll wait for the next patch thing. At that point, I think I had about 250 hours in DayZ, which is pretty good for me, all things considered. And with this latest patch, it was worth the wait. It's still not perfect by any means, but it is definitely playable. Finding gear is relatively easy, but still kind of challenging if you want to get like really fucking geared. But yeah, DayZ is my next patch game. What about you guys?
Actually, for a game that is actually fantastic, that I have next patch almost mentality with, it's kind of The Witcher 3, because they're coming out with this awesome free content every week, I think. And I'm like, maybe I should just wait, because I've been playing Batman, and I'm like, maybe I should just wait until the next DLC comes out, and then I'll go back to playing it, because I've gotten all the way to what I feel like is very close to the end, and I don't want it to end, so I've stopped. And I played Batman. I actually played Batman all the way through, finished it. Probably, I mean, Witcher 3, just by default, has to be my game of the year, but if I had to pick another one, Arkham Knight is definitely the top contender. But yeah, The Witcher 3 is kind of, it's not really a patch, but it's DLC. I can't really think of any games that are patchable games. I avoided Arkham Knight on PC for that reason. I didn't even wait for next patch. I just said fuck that shit and got it on PS4. So it's not really applicable to me.
Is this for early access games only? Or any game?
Any game.
Because, like, I'm still sat there waiting for a relevant patch to actually check out Hardline again. That's the only one I can think of right now, though.
I feel that way about... I gave up on Hardline. I feel that way about BF4. I'm, like, afraid to go back and try it.
See, BF4 is different for me because it doesn't matter how good they make the actual game. You know, the stuff like the hit detection and all that jazz. It's just fundamentally a game that doesn't appeal to me. Whereas Hardline does actually appeal to me. It's just fundamentally a game that doesn't work.
Why does Hardline appeal to you and not BF4?
Because it's got infinitely less bullshit involved in it. Like UCAVs and fucking paper airplanes and 1,000 jets. And all that kind of crack. It feels like I'm actually going to get shot and die in Hardline. Whereas in BF4 seems like bullshit death roulette. And kind of did since it launched to me. And that's why I think I never really like fell in love with the game. But there's always the potential with Hardline. If they tighten up the netcode a little bit to what it was in Beta 2, that I'll really enjoy it. So that'd be my next patch game, I think.
I would consider going back to give it a shot again, if enough other people did. Hardline, to me, it just felt it was a stripped-down Battlefield, and at least with Battlefield 4, you have that option. Like, do you want to go infantry only? Even though trying to do that, you didn't have as many opportunities, or do you want to do tank, or do you want to do jet, do you want to do chopper, whatever. Having all those options is what I liked about Battlefield. And then going to Hardline, it was just like, okay, well, now all I have is this one option. But there just wasn't, I don't know. I always struggle to put into words what it is about it that it lacks that have me so disinterested in it. But, I mean, if they tighten up the netcode... What?
It lacks the Ishimura. What they should have done is just made a Battlefield game on the space station from Dead Space with those monsters flying out trying to eat everybody while you're PvP, and that would have been the best game ever. Deadfield or Battle Space, whatever.
Battle Space sounds pretty dope.
It would have been amazing. Instead, they fucked it up. Made it about police.
Actually, be pretty cool if you could find a middle ground between Battlefield 4 and Hardline. I think that's what Hardline. I think that's what I had in my head what Hardline would be, what I had hoped, but it lacked. Didn't have enough for me. I don't know. I agree with the opponent though. BF4's menu and customization is definitely better than what BF3 had.
I really miss that when I played Battlefield 3. When I go back and because I love Battlefield 3, I love the gameplay and I love how it feels. But man, that menu is awful. It's just like it's basically a console menu on PC.
Yeah.
And the customization is terrible.
Yeah. Do we know what the latest is on Hardline? I know that they got the CTE up for it, but I don't know what's it looking like for patch updates.
I don't know. I find it next to impossible to keep up to date with the Battlefield world. Like the safest interest to have in Battlefield right now is actually a lack of interest.
Very good point.
Like that's just it's easiest to just like sit back and not really give too much of a fuck. The last thing I saw was that like a load of the DLC or a load of the premium, the Hardline premium stuff they had talked about wasn't going to be out for donkeys, and I saw people like losing their shit on Twitter, and I was just like, nah, I can't.
I think some of that premium content got pushed out for like 9 months. I know there was a figure to it, and it was kind of insane. It's like, well, okay, I can understand some of that backlash.
Yeah, but like at this point, it shouldn't be a shock.
Yeah.
Like it's gone from being a game that was doing kind of good on consoles, but dead on PC, to a game that's like already like dying out on consoles. So
that game,
I still have it in my next patch pile though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
That's the thing. They could always make the game playable to me. It's weird. But anyway. Yeah, that's about it. I know there's something else. Actually, no, there's a lot of stuff now that I think about it. Weird games like Hammerwatch. No, not Hammerwatch. Hero Siege. Which is like this little, like, kind of top-down action RPG that you can all play with your buddies. And it's, like, hard as balls, basically. But we seem to be constantly waiting for the next patch for that to kind of tighten up the multiplayer. Because you can kind of get out of sync with everybody else. So there's things in the world that can kill you, but you can't see them, so you end up walking into them and your guy just fucking explodes.
Oh god.
It's very weird. The funniest glitch we ever had was one night we were playing and I died and Squantoon died and we came back to life, but the screen never changed. It still told us that we were dead, but our buddy Aaron was still alive and he could see us, so he blind talked us, like directed us to the end of the level. It was like a little bit left, go forward, go forward, go forward, go right. For a good like 10-15 minutes, and then we made it to the exit. It was pretty weird.
I had that long pause earlier because I was trying to go through my Steam library to see if there's anything else that applied to this, but no, DayZ is the only one. Everything else I play is either complete or like
Reign of Kings might fall under that category for me. Although I will say, when I picked that up, I played it. I picked it up on like a Friday, and I played it for like 5 hours. No, I played it for like 20 hours for that whole weekend. I haven't touched it since, and that makes me sad. But that's definitely one that gets. Well, I mean, it's early access, so obviously it's going to get better with every iteration.
Yeah.
It's the only other one I can think of. DayZ is a pile of garbage, I just gotta say.
It is. It's a pile of garbage that I absolutely love and adore, though.
I know, I don't understand what appeals to me, but it does.
It's like cheap pizza.
Yeah.
True. It's like
It
junk
really
food.
is.
It's pretty much it. It's cheap pizza. I'm waiting for Elite Dangerous to get more ships. Like I've got a really fucking dank fighter in Elite Dangerous, and I've got like the highest spec engine, shields, lasers, cannons, you know, everything for it, and it's an absolute monster. So I'm waiting for the next level to
Basically,
arrive
you're a
in the
giant
game.
Nerd.
Hey, I like space. There's lots of room there.
Gotcha.
It's roomy.
Actually, I'm gonna mention that which shall not be named. Destiny was for a while for me a next patch mentality, because I recently went back. I played it last week a little bit with my Destiny bros, and even without the DLC, like obviously they've had the 2 expansions which basically added a handful of missions and some new gear, but they've changed a lot since the original release. Like they've added some useful resource exchange. I mean, they've done that several times in several different ways. I think they've added you can switch your loot from the mobile app instead of having to go all the way to the tower vault and like to switch your loot between characters, but I don't know how those things weren't in there in the beginning, but I appreciate that they are there. So Destiny is a little bit better with every patch that comes. I don't know if they're still patching it, but
I can get that for like $30 right now, brand new.
Destiny.
I'm
I
probably
don't
gonna
doubt
pick
it.
it up this week just for when I get my PS4.
Well,
at the end of the month.
if you get the collector's edition, you can get everything for $60 and special shit that nobody else can get.
Yeah, but I can't. I thought I couldn't get that until like September.
Oh, is it not? I don't know. Well, people were all up in arms because, you know, if you bought it, like I bought the Guardian edition, which I believe was $90. It was $80 or $90. It gave me the base game and the 2 expansions, which was called the Season Pass, but it only included the first 2 expansions. And then people were pissed off because they just recently announced the Collector's Edition, which had the base game, the 2 expansions, and then this next, the Taken King, like the bigger expansion. And they're releasing that for, I believe, $60. So people were like, oh, because the Taken King alone is $40. So people were like, oh, the base game plus 2 expansions is $20. I don't know, people were upset. But yeah, so if you want to wait a little bit more and pick that up for $60, it would probably be worth it, because it'll probably give you an actual full game's worth of content as opposed to the base game, which is a joke, and then the 2 expansions, which are okay. They add, you know, a few missions.
It seems to be priced out like just annoyingly though.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty
You know what I mean?
arbitrary.
I'm not going to wait until September to buy a game that I want to play, and then have the incredible difficulty of, okay, I'll buy this game in September. Everybody I know is on their level 34 guys playing the new content.
Yeah, or you can buy it for what, $30?
Yeah, or I can buy it for $30 and just play it, and I don't care about money. I'm rich. Sucks to be rich, man.
All this money.
I'm probably not gonna pick up the new expansion for $40 because I just don't.
Yeah, $40 seems expensive.
Yeah,
It is. It's
For
pretty steep.
I mean, if I've already paid $90, I'm not gonna pay another $40.
Like that's some like here's the issue. There is that's actually some Blizzard level shit. Like the first part of StarCraft, $40. Second part of StarCraft, $40. Third part of StarCraft, be $40. And it feels like a lot until you realize that the people who buy StarCraft, you're getting hundreds of hours of gameplay for your $40. and your $40 is actually an entirely full campaign, and that $40 will completely rewrite the landscape of the PvP. Like, the rules changes and the balance changes will change everything. It'll be a whole new game. So, you know, like, maybe I'm drawing like a harsh criticism just by association, but Activision, I understand that you own Blizzard and I understand that you own Bungie, but they're not the same fucking thing and they're not making the same damn games.
Yeah. It's not comparable at all. I mean, we'll see how The Taken King is. I'm most likely not going to pick it up. If I pick it up, it would be for review purposes only, because I'm just not feeling that game. I mean, the base game plus the 2 expansions, almost, I guess, would feel like a complete game, kind of, to me. But it's still laughable. Next patch mentality.
Well, you know, we were talking about next patch stuff, and kind of had a little bit to do with early access as well, at least on my end. Another question we had was from Insane. He said, do you think people will stop endorsing broken early access games? No. So long as there's money to be made, you'll always find someone to endorse fucking anything, regardless of what the condition is.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, what should it matter? If I'm walking down the street and I find a broken fucking bicycle wheel, if I can entertain myself with that broken bicycle wheel, that's, you know, that's my business.
Right. So
it's very, like, I'm unsure as to what the question is, but I'm going to focus on the interpretation of the question implying maybe a degree of chicanery, where people, you know, they come across a game and it's broken as fuck, but it's getting them views. So they're like playing the shit out of it and having like super fun with all their friends and all that kind of shit. Like, there's, you know, people are never going to stop doing that because
cash money,
literally the argument amongst a certain school of YouTubers will be that analytics rule all. And YouTube constantly pushes the message that you look at your analytics and that should inform the content that you create. And yeah, to a degree, when it comes to growing your channel, they're correct. You make the content that people are watching. But is that really like endorsing a game? I don't think so. Like, for me, you'd have like to be endorsing a game, you'd have to have some kind of quid pro quo between you and the developer, some kind of benefit to you outside of simple, you know, monetizing the videos.
Some kind of ronk-y thing.
Yeah, a ronk or a ronk-like device, shall we say, would need to be in place.
Yep.
But like, it's very easy to look at the game somebody is playing and cast aspersions on the reason as to why they are playing it. But if somebody's playing a game for like weeks and weeks and weeks and they're doing like 2 or 3 videos a week, make the assumption that they do actually enjoy it. You might disagree with whether the game is good or not, but the safest assumption to make is that they are actually enjoying it enough to at least make the videos.
Agreed.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you see a shit ton of streamers doing DayZ. And it's kind of a catch-22 because once you start playing that certain game, your people that are watching you expect you to keep playing it. Like, that's what they want to see. And if you veer off the beaten path, then, you know, you're going to suffer. So it's kind of that. If you're a full-time streamer and that's your livelihood, then I don't blame you for not taking that chance and trying to play something else.
Speaking of which, that's why anytime I see someone that's first, like, you know, just trying to break into YouTube or Twitch or whatever, I tell them, what, dude, like, Ball Scanner's example, fucking diversify from day one, because if something does come up that you want to play, it's not going to matter. Because people are used to you bouncing around from game to game and stuff. If you can build an audience based on that, that's the best way to go, man. That way it leaves all your doors open.
It's more difficult to grow.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
But if you don't care about that kind of thing, it's certainly, I would consider it to be the best way to actually have your channel, because you can do whatever you want and you never need to apologize to, you know, anybody for like changing. Like, let's say we get, you know, I get the PS4 and all of a sudden I fall in love with Destiny and I want to do like 2 or 3 Destiny videos a week. I can just do that. And none of my subs are going to care. They're just going to not watch the Destiny if they're not interested, and they are going to watch the other stuff. And nobody feels alienated or isolated, and I'm not suddenly like leaving everybody behind because I'm no longer doing XYZ game. And it's nice.
What are you doing down there?
Okay, so I'm looking at the chat because Insane is he's kind of throwing more in there, but with games, I gotta back up. Okay, seriously though, maybe you were reading too much in the terms of the wording endorsing. But with games that are technically better, why buy one that is incomplete with bugs over those? Also the hype, and then I'm talking in terms of non-streamer YouTuber. Like, as a customer, why would you choose those games over ones that work better?
Because they can be fun. Like, it's that simple.
Or your friends are playing them and you want to check it out?
Yeah, the same way anybody buys anything. Like, lots of people are playing it and you want to check it out, and everybody's in TS having a good laugh, so you're like, fuck it, I'm going to buy it and see if it's fun. Like, it's really hard to make the argument of something being better. Like, GTA launched on PC and every now and then it would crash for me. And I can think of many other games where I wouldn't put up with any kind of shit. If it crashes, it's dead to me until tomorrow. Like, you crash once, you're dead to me. I've got like fucking so many games to play. If you're gonna dick around, why would I waste time in you? But GTA, I would fire it up again.
Yeah.
And if anybody said to me, what do you think of GTA? I would say you should buy it. It's really good, even though it would crash.
Right. Because it's not like it's a huge bug or it's devastating. It causes you 5 minutes of inconvenience, which for a game that fun is worth putting up with.
Now, some games can be so bad and so broken and can be such a disappointing early access experience that you actually won't buy similar games in early access. Like, that's what happened with me with the Stomping Land. I love that game. Dinosaurs and shit, and, you know, sticks and poking each other with sticks and locking each other in cages and making people dance so we didn't kill them and stuff. It was awesome. But the game turned into complete vaporware and the guy who was developing it disappeared. So when Ark Survival Evolved came out, there was no fucking way I was buying it because it felt like such a similar kind of blueprint. I'm like, I'm not going to buy this game because it's going to turn into vaporware. So it can be an odd thing. At the end of the day, the people who are making videos are just people, and they're going to make the same either informed or ill-informed purchasing decisions as people who watch their videos. That's what I do.
Yep. So
I adamantly told the lads in the TS one night I was totally not going to buy my GTX 980 yet, and 10 minutes later I ordered it. I was like, fuck it, I'm buying it. I don't care anymore, I'm just buying it. It looks so pretty.
So kind of piggybacking off of, again, it was continuing on the early access topic. Slats' question was, you know, following on from Insane's question, have you ever played an early access game that didn't impress you at first, or appeared too broken to be worth your while, but has actually turned out to a game that you would view in a good light now? Jess, I'm going to let you start because I see you already have notes.
Well, I was cheating. I saw what Slats said in the chat, because I couldn't really think of anything that really fell under this category, because I mean, I don't know any early access games that I played that are not early access anymore, but I guess that's not really his question. Disco Dodgeball, that's fully released now, right?
Yes.
But it was early access. So
yeah, which I did not know at first for like months.
So I would say that is a successful example. I wasn't like, I didn't like hate it at first, but it is definitely a good time for what it is, especially being built by one guy. Eric? Is that his name? Eric?
Yes.
But, I mean, The Long Dark, I'm pretty sure is still in early access, but that one is also excellent. I think they're really just adding game modes to that, because when I played it, it was fine. I didn't encounter any issues. But a game that has not impressed me at first and appears too broken is DayZ. Like, I'm rooting for that game, but man, it's been years, I feel like, and no.
They did not have a very clear roadmap, and
Yeah,
I think it was
been
made.
all over the place.
I think it was made difficult with having Dean on board because it all came from him. You know, he's the one that kind of created the DayZ mod, and then Bohemia was like, "All right, let's fucking do this. Let's make a full game." And with Dean involved, they're like, "Okay, well, this is the roadmap." And then he was just kind of like the consultant. If I understand it correctly, his position was like kind of like a consulting thing. He wasn't the lead guy or whatever. They just kind of looked at him and said, "Okay, well, what's the direction like that we need to take this to make it like a full blown reality of the mod that you made that everyone loved?" Okay, well, this is what I did, and this is what I had intended to do, and so on and so forth. And they finally got a point where they're like, okay, well, we've got, like, you know, X amount done. We don't need you for the rest, so bye. Anytime you want to go, go. And he left. And he made it clear, like, a year before he left, which a lot of people either ignore or don't know. He said that it was going to come to a point where he did not need to even be there on the daily. He could still be there, like, in a consulting role, but he could just do it over the phone to make sure that the progression of the game was still going in the direction that he had always intended it to go. And then he said at a certain point, I'm going to be able to leave, and the game's going to be fine. They're going to do their own thing. But with the success of it, it kept changing and altering the roadmap of the development. All this money came in. I believe they've passed 3 million sales now on early access. I know they crossed 2 million.
Wow.
But I'm pretty sure I heard that they've crossed 3 million. That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
And I know they weren't planning on that, so that's really fucked up the development schedule for this. And again, the roadmap. You know, they're like, okay, well, this is our roadmap, this is what we're going to do. And then all of a sudden, huge fucking influx of money. And they're like, okay, well, we have all this money we did not anticipate whatsoever at this point, or ever, so why don't we fix this shit and make it better before we get too far that it'll, like, set it way back. And that bumped everything out.
I feel like that's just a horrible development and business decision, though. Like, you have all this influx of money. Okay,
It is and it
that's
isn't.
great. So, go on with your shit, get the game done correctly, and then whatever you want to put in with that extra cash that you have.
But
don't feel
I
like
guess the
that's-
thing was that they wouldn't be able to. I guess the Armor engine is pretty finicky and a little difficult to work with.
Well,
and
that was
has
probably their
limitations.
first bad decision, was using the
Well,
old
that's what a
Armor
lot of
engine.
people said. They didn't use the right engine. I'm with you. I went and looked through my list, and DayZ's the only early access game that I played. I have Reign of Kings, haven't played it yet. I'm trying to think, did I have another one? No. I mean, I played Disco Dodgeball, but I loved it from the beginning, and it just got better and better. DayZ at first, you know, all these people had played the mod. Fake Thriller tried to get me to play it for fucking, like, a year or two before the standalone came out, and I was like, nah, doesn't interest me. And I kind of looked at it, and I was like, I don't want to go through all the hassle of trying to get it set up, fuck it. And then standalone came out, and Tony bought it for me, because he was in love with it at first. And I was like, it's alright. And then it was just fun with friends. And then as they dropped more and more stuff, I'm like, okay, this is actually getting better. So, as the game progressed, I mean, yeah, it's still buggy as fuck, and certainly broken in many aspects, but still can't beat that adrenaline rush. Oh, that's delicious. Sorry, distracted. It's root beer beer. It tastes just like root beer. You can hardly taste the alcohol in it. It's wonderful. I don't know, what about you,
Pretty
Skinner?
delicious.
What?
Early access
Early
game that you were initially not a fan of, but then it impressed you.
None.
None. Fuck that shit. Table flip.
No, I play a lot of early access games. I get a read on them pretty quickly, and I'm one of those, like, I'm a fool with games. Like, for the most part, if I like a game, I like a game, and it doesn't matter if it's a good or a bad game. If I like it, when I'm publicly discussing a game, I will make the difference as to whether I think it's a good or a bad game, but that would be completely separate as to whether I like it. It's like, I like terrible movies, I like horrible authors, I like really bad producers of fucking music. Like, that has no real worth or value. Like, I still like it. And it's the same with games. there's perfectly good serviceable games out there, and I fucking hate them.
All right.
Like I think I'm like slightly more in touch with my kind of, what do I want to say? I think I'm more in touch with why I like a game than a lot of people are from watching the way people argue about shit on Twitter. People make the assumption that if they like a game, it's a good game because they're so fucking smart. Of course they like it, it's a good game. Of course it's a good game because I like it. It ends up in this weird, feedback loop of dog shit. Whereas I'm perfectly in touch with my ability to like stuff that is fucking terrible. Like, I will sit down right now and I will watch the movie Big Trouble in Little China. No problem. Love that movie. But it's fucking terrible. And people always argue, it's a great movie. It's not. It's an awful movie. Everything about it is awful. But it's enjoyable.
Wait, which movie?
Big Trouble in Little China. If neither of you have
I don't
seen
know why I
that...
asked.
Oh, you fucking children.
I haven't seen
know
any
I
movies,
have.
man. I'm like the snooze
Kurt
of
Russell.
movies.
She is. She really is. But I'm like the Scanner
Jesus.
Barkley of movies. I've seen a shit ton of movies.
That's
But
quite a
you've
claim.
never seen Big Trouble in Little China. So
No, I have. I just cannot. It's been
matter.
so long.
I'm disappointed.
Man, I'm sorry.
But yeah, I don't know. That's just like people need to be a little bit more self-aware as to why they do and don't like stuff, and whether the stuff they do or don't like is objectively or subjectively good. Because most of the time, the stuff that we like is bad. Like it's really bad stuff because there's more bad stuff produced than good stuff. But we're consumers. It's our natural state to plow through piles of stuff. And it can't all be as good as we think it is.
Truth.
Surely.
Yep.
That's just me, though. I'm in a weird mood today. I feel like arguing strange points because I know that somebody somewhere is going to get annoyed.
Oh, you're gonna love this one then. Misled Penguin's topic: gamer attention spans. He said he thought of this due to the showing of the new Assassin's Creed. People were excited despite what Unity had done. What do you think the average attention span of a gamer is? Attention span is in hating it 1 minute and then like, oh my god, new game, and all is forgiven. That.
He's describing me to a T because I'm gonna pick up Battlefront on PC, and I already know that I'm gonna hate myself for it, but I can't stop it. It's gonna happen. Like Battlefield 4, I was not a fan of. Hardline was even worse, and Battlefront, I have no words. I have no excuses.
Can
And
I drop
I apologize
a rain cloud?
in advance.
Can I drop a piss rain cloud over your little parade here?
Please do.
You're not alone in that people are thinking, oh my god, I'm going to get Battlefront regardless of what EA had done because fucking Star Wars, Battlefront, I want it. And you're thinking, like, I love Star Wars so much, I have to get the Star Wars game. Because there's love there, and maybe I can get past that. Do you ever think and consider that maybe the game could be so fucking atrocious that it sours your taste for Star Wars in some fashion?
First of all, that's blasphemy. And
Question.
Just saying.
Question, Snoov.
What?
Did you ever have bad sex? And this is to you, so I know you've had bad sex. Did you ever have intercourse with a lady and it was disappointing?
No, but I can't say the same for my partner.
So, like, my argument would center around the fact that, like, people who've had bad sex don't go off sex. They
Yeah,
just
that's
go off
totally
sex
different.
with that particular person.
You gotta pick a more relatable metaphor.
Did you ever eat a not tasty pie? I know this one's gonna be a struggle.
Surprisingly enough, I fucking despise pie. It's disgusting.
So yeah, but if were you to accidentally eat like a pie, it wouldn't put you off the rest of the food.
True.
So a bad Star Wars game is not going to put necessarily people off of Star Wars universe. I have to kill this spider. I'll be back in a second. The spiders come to my house, they die. That's the way it works.
I mean, when
I'm reading the chat, and it's just
when I saw this question, I immediately thought, That's me in Battlefront, because I'm gonna pick it up. Like, I can't not pick that game up. And I feel dirty and ashamed, but...
You know what I get tired of?
I'm actually...
100% honest. I get fucking tired of whenever I say something, or I'm trying to think a little bit differently, everyone puts me down like it's the dumbest fucking thing they've ever heard. And I get it. Not everything I say is to be accepted, but... it... fucking 90% of the things that I say that people disagree with, they make it sound like I'm a fucking retard. I said the dumbest thing they've heard in a month.
Because it's funny.
I don't know what you're talking
No,
about.
it gets old. I honestly get very, very tired of it. I try and think of different fucking
That's why it's funny.
perspectives, and people are like, fucking, hey, let's read that.
That's why it's funny.
I actually have the same thing with Assassin's Creed, because while I didn't pick up Unity, I am interested in Syndicate. I liked Black Flag, skipped Unity and Rogue, but Syndicate, I will probably pick that shit up. So again... well, no, I mean, I guess that counts as learning my lesson, because I didn't pick Unity up. So I'm not in that crowd.
You only want to get Syndicate because you hope everybody sounds like fucking Benedict Cumberbatch because it's in England.
And there's a lady.
That's
I mean,
it.
Victorian England, come on. Anglophile, I don't even have a chance against that. With a lady, a lady protagonist, I can't. I can't resist that. But, I mean, he does have a good point. Why do people hate on games 1 minute, and then the next they're buying the sequel?
Because people are fucking stupid.
Yes.
It
Yeah,
doesn't need to be explained any other way.
For the most part, yeah, like that's
People
kind of
are...
what it boils down to. There's also, like, the game itself is only a part of the experience. If you are interested in anything, let's say Snoov and fishing. Snoov is going to have his experience and his knowledge, and he's going to buy certain things. And he's going to be standing there, and some guy is going to walk into the shop, and he's going to buy something, and Snoop's going to look at him and go, what a fucking idiot. Like, that rod is for fucking morons. But that's part of the experience. Like, the same as anything else. When we see people buying games that we personally don't buy, we get this little kind of buzz out of it. It's like, oh, you bought that game? You're a dumbass. That game's going to be terrible, and you're a terrible person for buying it. You know, it's always been that way. Like, people want to say that, like, gaming is mean now, but Jesus Christ, some of the shit that used to go on back in the Sega versus Nintendo days, that's just, it's all part of the culture. People want...
True.
They want the games to be good, and then when they're disappointed or let down by a game, what they really are is angry at themselves because they just spent $50 and they're not going to get it back.
Right.
And rather than sit there and accept responsibility for their own consumer habits and their unwillingness to wait a couple of days and read reviews and get opinions about the game, they, like, you know, rushed out and bought it, and then they get super angry, going like, oh, you know, this game is shit and it's bad and it's terrible and the developer sucks balls. You know, endlessly expressing this disappointment, not in anything other than themselves, but unable to look at themselves critically because most people fucking can't do that for shit. And then the next game comes up and all they remember is the excitement. They remember, oh, I love this series of games and this one's going to be all better and everything's going to be great. That's just the way people are.
I agree. That's a good point. I still
People
feel
are
dirty.
blind. Yeah, people are blindly hopeful. They get let down by what they've been looking forward to all along, and they think, okay, well, maybe they just, you know, didn't have the time or the money to get it right. But that next one, it's like they look forward to the next one to hope to, like, justify. I don't know. I don't know how to put this into words. Because that's how I was with Battlefield 3 going into Battlefield 4. Battlefield 3 itself wasn't shit, but it wasn't perfect. There was a lot of things that like you wanted to see them fix that they just couldn't or didn't want to. In this,
But it was so good.
the suppression, they didn't want to. I do remember that coming. If I remember correctly, it came up and they said, "Nope, we're keeping the suppression as it is. That's a feature in the game that we feel is integral to the overall, picture that we've painted for this, how this game is to play." And you're like, okay, well, I mean, I had fun. I was a little disappointed here and there, but they're gonna learn from the mistakes, right? And the next one's gonna be better because that's how fucking everything in life works. When you come out the next iteration of something, version 2 is supposed to be just a better version of version 1. You fixed all the fucking things that were broken that people bitched about. You added things that people were said, I'd really like to see this. Boom, version 2, progression. And I think that's why gamers are just so quick to fucking like squirrels, man, chipmunks, hamsters, lemmings, fucking pick it, something like anything. Just like, right, like utter disappointment, and the moment you turn your head, you're like, hope, because you just like that, your attention's gone, your memory's gone. You're just such short-term memory in the majority of gamers, and you think that games are going to work out like everything else in life, like I said. Especially in a direct series, Battlefield 3 to Battlefield 4, so on and so forth. You expect to see progression. And unfortunately, these past couple of years, we're just not seeing that. And that's where I think people are fucking dumb. They're not seeing that there is a trend. It's not getting better. Hopefully that trend breaks itself and things do get better. But as of right now, history is against those that think it is going to be.
Yeah.
I'm also going to point out, if I spend like 50, 60 bucks on a game and that game disappoints me, I'm going to get my money's worth out of fucking Twitter. Like, I think that's a pretty good take on things as well. And oftentimes, most of that fun is going to come from riling people up who, like, disagree with me.
Yeah. Well, that's what Amprap is saying. He's saying people who defend games like they made it themselves confuse me. The inability to be objective and responsible for your own purchase is definitely rife. And I feel like sometimes those kind of people are they're probably like three kinds of people. One, they're getting paid to like that game, whether they're making content and getting extra money for it or whatnot. Not necessarily like a devious thing, but they're promoting a game. Two, they just blindly really love a thing. Or three, they're sick of people. I feel like people have a tendency to overreact to things and be overly negative. Like, it's really easy to just whine and complain 24/7 all the time, especially on Twitter when you have 140 characters and you're just shouting into the void about how you hate something. I feel like there are people out there who kind of try to negate that by being like, well, there's this good thing about it, when really maybe they think inside their minds it's not really the best product ever, but it's not Satan's asshole that people are making it out to be, like Scanner. Just kidding. Scanner
is Satan's asshole.
Scanner is Satan's asshole, so
I'm a nice guy.
There are people
was that a joke?
who love to put others down. Poor Snoopy's the example here tonight.
I love to put other people down.
I do when they show, like, next level display of stupidity. That makes my brain literally hurt. And I just shake my head, and I have to make an example out of them. Because maybe they'll learn. I have hope for these people. Unfortunately, they continue to breed, and the stupidity gets worse and worse. Like, the too stupid, like, usually, it's like fucking horses and dogs and shit. You take two really good things, you breed them together, and bam, you get a better one next generation. Now, unfortunately, we get two dummies that breed, and they get even fucking dumber in the next generation. We're moving backwards, people. Is that wrong? I don't care. Go ahead. Be speechless.
I'm the biggest judgmental person ever, but I try to keep it inside my mind. I really do.
I got no patience for stupidity. It's amazing I have patience for myself half the time.
But it's funny to judge people. This is what I don't get. It's like, People are like, oh, you shouldn't judge people. Why not? Because you can make it like super fucking funny. Like you can say something you can say something terrifyingly judgmental that is fucking hilarious. And the buck stops with the other person. Like I'm a fucking I can't remember my own age. Like I'm a 34-year-old dude. There have been stages of my life where people have always been very willing to make fun of me. And it's something that I have encouraged. Because there's a large degree of human ingenuity involved in making fun of people. People get a laugh. If you can make a room laugh, people gain confidence out of it. It can be this great thing. I don't see the point in getting, like, offended over stuff. Like, even when... You know, I'm very open about, like, the stuff that I deal with. And even when some fucking plebtard rolls up on a video and just says something that he really hopes is, like, straight up mean about the fact that I'm sick, I'll just be like, okay, whatever. Like, it's not such a bad thing to be judgmental. It can be funny. You can also prepare soft people for the reality of the world. If you can't take somebody making a joke about a game that you like, you're fucked. Like, Jesus, dude, somebody's gonna fucking judge you because of how your face looks, the car you drive, the job you have, the books you read, the words you say, the things you believe. Like, what the fuck are you going to do then if you can't deal with the fact that somebody else thinks Battlefield Bad Company wasn't all that great? You're like, what the fuck did this guy just say about the game that I like? I'll kill him.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
You can't take shit too seriously, or you can go crazy.
No, and the
yeah,
people
otherwise
that...
you're going to be like, Jesus Christ, you will never stop throwing punches.
But you also need to not be an asshole. Like, I mean, there's like poking fun of people, and there's being an asshole.
Oh yeah, like if some dude with like fucking one leg or whatever was hopping past me, I'm not gonna go like, ah, look at your man with one leg. You know what I mean? That'd be a bit, that'd be dickish. But like, I think maybe my biggest kind of issue when people say, like, you know, somebody goes, oh, I'm not a judgmental person, I always sit there and go, you're a fucking liar. Like, my eyes are screaming the word liar at them, because everybody is judgmental. It's the human condition. Like, we are all the things that we will constantly proclaim ourselves not to be. Like, I'm not judgmental, I'm not egotistical, I'm not fucking whatever. Like, we're all those things, like, different percentages on different days, but none of us are Zen. We're not fucking Vulcan. You know, we're humans, and we make fun of other humans, and we laugh about their miseries because it's hilarious to us. And then, you know, we, like, the big difference is whether there's malice in it or not. I would suspect. Like, that's the main difference between being a dick and not being a dick, is how much malice is there in the fun you poke at other people. Like, if I make fun of Jess, am I doing it to make her laugh, or am I doing it to make her cry?
And also, we have a repertoire. So
Exactly.
I know you, and I know when you're saying something and you're being a dick, you're not really being a dick. But if somebody were to just come up to me and I don't know them and say the same thing, then
yeah, like,
shit's
I've
going
earned
down.
the right. I've, like, earned the right to make the jokes that I make with my friends because we're friends. Like, I wouldn't walk up to a fucking stranger and say the shit that I say unless I was looking to start a fight.
Well, that's what would make you an asshole if you did something like that.
Yeah.
That's the difference between banter and giving somebody just fucking shit in general and being a fucking asshole.
But, like, you know, all in all, people, I think, need to stop losing their shit just because somebody you've never met and have no reason to need to speak to doesn't like the same thing that you like. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
It's a game. It's a thing that you can buy, and yes, you might love it deeply. Like, I fucking, everybody is aware that if Dark Souls was given human female form, I would have sex with it, even if it had like tentacles and shit. I'd be all like, "Oh, Dark Souls, I love you, baby." Ah.
That's some kinky shit.
But I'm not gonna get mad if some guy goes, "Oh, I hate Dark Souls." I'd be like, "All right, well, cool."
Yeah. I feel like this issue is also, not that I want to bring it up or get into it at all, but I feel like this is the foundation of the issues with the Gamergate and attacking people who have criticisms of games. People are criticizing your favorite game. Chill the fuck out, dude.
I refuse to even acknowledge, even though I am, Gamergate.
I mean, well, thankfully we
fucking
are...
nightmare.
I say we, I mean, I haven't really made that sort of criticism of games, but thankfully we have the privilege of ignoring that, but there are people that don't because they get threatened and scary. It's scary because people can't take it too seriously.
Right.
But the thing that I don't understand about that reaction is that often the defense will be, it's just a game, leave it alone. But if it's just a game, why are we all getting so mad about what other people think? It's just a game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Cognitive dissonance is a wonderful thing and largely allows people to live their lives without screaming non-stop. It's like a nice little psychological buffer, because if you if you go from thinking like, oh, I'm waking up and I have to go to work, to, oh, I'm waking up and I have to go to work. I'm waking up on a planet that's screaming through space. I'm waking up on a planet that's screaming through space around a burning ball. I'm waking up on a planet that's screaming through space around a burning ball with lots of other planets that are screaming through space around a burning ball with lots of other stuff that's screaming past us. Oh my god, we're all gonna die.
You're gonna hurt my brain, man.
You know what I mean? Like,
where are we going?
You need a shutdown process. You need like a valve in your head to release the tension, and cognitive dissonance allows us to do this. We can think two completely opposite things at the same time and believe they're both completely true. It's wonderful. Exactly insane.
He's got a point.
It's the same dismissal, like for everything.
Yeah. There's one more topic I want to talk. I'm going to actually cut this one short. We've been pretty good the past couple weeks. We've been able to segue nicely, but I didn't see there was an easy way to cut that off. Last one I wanted to discuss, we might have time for two. One from a Chimp's World and Annoyed Droid, but first from a Chimp's World. Why other game devs can't be more like CD Projekt Red and wait until their game is finished, released, then support it. I think if you want to compare something, say like The Witcher 3 versus Battlefield, The Witcher has the ability, it's expansive. I haven't played it, but I've kept in the loop enough to understand that that game is fucking expansive. You can go on for, correct me if I'm wrong, Scanner, hundreds of hours.
Yes.
And it's just an ever-evolving story, and it just keeps fucking going. But it's still unique throughout. Something that has that kind of depth, you can take a gamble on as a company and spend about 4 years making it and polishing it before releasing it. Because it's going to be a big-ticket item that people, like, that's a fucking gem worth waiting for. Something like Battlefield 4, or any sort of first-person shooter like that, lacks depth. Just because you can play something like that for upwards of 1,000 hours does not mean it has depth. It has good repeatability. There's a difference. Something that has good repeatability, you really probably don't want to take that kind of a huge gamble on where, like, okay, if we make this for like 3 or 4 years, it'll release perfectly, but are people going to have any interest in something like that? Because there's nothing overly unique about it. There's nothing that, makes it scream like this is a game worth waiting for. It is a truly unique experience that will grab you from the heart and soul and fucking pull you in. It's another first-person shooter. And yeah, maybe it's got its own unique little quirks and fucking things here and there, but It doesn't have that depth that something like The Witcher 3 would. And that's why they'll release it like, okay, we got a 2.5 year time window, we'll patch as long as it goes, but you got to strike while the iron's hot, because that's what this kind of game, that's the target audience that those kind of games are for. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but that to me is my assumption based on everything.
I think it also has to do with the support that they have from, you know, the publishers.
Yeah, the environment in which something is created is extremely important.
And
CD Projekt Red.
I don't think The Witcher 2 had a smooth launch, did it? It was a bit buggy.
None of them have ever really had a smooth launch.
I didn't have any issues with The Witcher 3.
They have the Witcher series is one of those games where initial flaws on launch are forgiven because there's enough of the vision is there that people go, I can see what the potential is. And you know, some people like don't forgive it and they hate The Witcher and they just think, oh, the first two had shitty launches, I'm not playing it. But then the enhanced editions came out, and you know, they were like free updates for anybody who had the game, and they like completely solved whatever the launch issues had been. Whatever people considered to be weak systems were redone and all the rest of it. So there's like different companies will have different cultures. You can't underestimate the power of the culture that a company will drive and how it affects your experience as a consumer. Like, I guarantee you, within like the catchment area of where most of us live, there'll be multiple shops that provide the same service. There'll be multiple different places where we can buy our groceries. There'll be different butchers. There'll be different hairdressers. Blah 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 blah. But people will have their specific ones because of a culture that's present in that shop, that's driven by management downwards, that suits us as people. And it's exactly the same with these, you know, games development companies. The culture that they drive, and the one for CD Projekt Red seems to be very self-aware and very customer-focused. But they're also not stupid. They also seem to be focused very heavily on what their staff want to do, because they've publicly said that as people you know, finish up their work cycles on Witcher 3 content, they're moving them over onto Cyberpunk 2077. And one of the reasons that they're doing this is because some of those core people have been there for 12 years working on The Witcher. And the actual team themselves are hungry for a project that is different. And that's one of the main reasons why they want to work on Cyberpunk 2077, because it's so different thematically and setting and artistically and, you know, art direction-y to everything they've done for The Witcher up till now. It's the same job and it's the same work, but it feels completely fresh in their head. So they just seem to give slightly more of a fuck than a lot of other kind of people with their hands on the reins of game development.
Yeah,
so,
I freaking love those guys. They're also behind GOG.com, which is the DRM-free digital distributor, which I did not realize until recently. And I think that's fucking awesome, and I want to, you know, start giving them my business.
Excuse me.
My business.
So yeah, culture plays a huge role. Some people focus on the money. Some people focus on the feels. And every now and then you get people who come along and they're actually able to do what's best for both. Like, you can have like an aggressively focused work environment that's still consumer centric and still looking out for its employees. It is possible. It's just difficult, and that's why most people fail to do it.
I buy it. I get it. What do you think?
I love cigarettes. Kids, if you're young and you're watching this, you should definitely smoke.
That was a joke.
Don't listen to him.
Don't do it.
We got
By
time.
the way, my channel is now sponsored by Marlboro.
This would be a pretty interesting one because this is kind of like a fanboyish topic. It gets the fanboys up and going. Annoyed Droid, what do you guys think will win the next GPU race with the 980 Ti's being released close to the 300s from AMD? My opinion on it, it's Nvidia's game to lose. AMD doesn't make shit product. People give it negative, or people have a negative bias towards it because I guess they used to have a thing with overheating back in the day. But Nvidia is definitely the more popular brand of the two. You can, from what I understand, you can get an AMD card that is the equivalent of, pick an Nvidia-based card, but quite a bit cheaper, just because they're not the leaders in that area of the market. Problem is, game developers are more geared towards Nvidia because they're more popular and in more PCs. So AMD's still kind of fighting that uphill battle, whereas they're not getting quite the support and the love from devs that Nvidia does. I don't know, am I mistaken here? I'm pretty sure I understand where the two companies stand inside of the gaming world.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Nvidia is the favorite.
Yeah, they're definitely
With
like
devs.
the dominant kind of brand, and they've got the majority of the market share. At the end of the day, I think people grossly misunderstand the situation between these companies. Neither of them is a charity. They both want your money. And like any other company, they will sometimes have really strong products and sometimes they'll do a bit of corner cutting. Not everything they do will be geared towards your benefit as a consumer. It will be geared towards their benefit as a provider of something. So I sometimes laugh when I see people like arguing about like which is better, as if that particular consumer decision makes them a better person. It's like, I bought AMD because I don't agree with Nvidia's business practices. And then it's like, okay, well, where was your AMD GPU made? In what factory? Under what work conditions? And where were the parts sourced from? And all this kind of stuff. And even then, like, our view of it is so limited to, like, we focus on gaming when both companies are bigger and do more. So I just see it as like the same brand of foolishness. Everything else is dictated the same way. It's price point and what's most applicable to you as a person. Like between the GTA or the GTX 980 Ti and the Furies and what have you, I don't think AMD were expecting the GTIs to cost so little. Like, I'm not saying they're dirt cheap, but for what they are, they're dirt cheap. And I think that's going to fuck with them a little bit. I think AMD will be constantly haunted by their poor driver support. I think AMD will be constantly haunted by their card's inability to handle what is becoming industry standard aspects of games. I think Nvidia are doing very smart things. Like, I'm not saying they're good, I'm not saying they're right, I'm just saying they're smart when it comes to GameWorks and, you know, things like that. Like, if you want a game, like if you want a GPU that's going to have less issues, you probably buy an Nvidia. Like, that's just how it is right now. It does tessellation better. You've got all the GameWorks stuff. Like, you know, you play The Witcher and I play The Witcher. If you're on an AMD card, I guarantee you my game looks fucking better. Just deal with it. And then people react negatively when we bring that argument into, you know, PC versus PC gaming, when that's what we do to console people all the time. That's how we all united. We're like, fucking console plebs with their shitty ass graphics, and I'm sat here with with Hairworks running, and this Griffin's fucking hairy head is billowing in the wind, and I've got half a chubby going. I'm like, you fucking AMD idiot, you will never understand the beauty of this Griffin. Ever.
So it kind of goes back to what I said. It really is Nvidia's game to lose. Then it would probably take a combination of AMD getting their shit together and getting their driver support fucking up to par, and Nvidia to make a slip up somewhere.
Yeah, I recently switched to Nvidia, and man, it's so pretty.
You went from a 7950 to a 960, correct?
I did, but I mean, not even. Obviously, that was going to be better, but like even the bloatware that comes with it, the Nvidia experience or whatever, their software that comes with it, is so much nicer, easier to use, and I'm not going back. It would take a lot to bring me back to AMD. And I was exclusively AMD for, I think I built my first PC in like 2010. So 4 years. Nope.
Damn.
That would take quite a bit to get me to go back there. Unless
At
maybe
the
I
end
had
of the
AMD CPU.
At the end of the day, it's two massive multi-international companies, and people are talking about them as if they fucking know them. You know what I mean? As if it's their friend Fred, who's got like, oh, Fred set up a new business, I hope it does really well for him. Like, what set the tone for me is AMD seem to focus on getting their tech into like the recent generation of Sony and Microsoft consoles. That seemed to be their focus. It's like, okay, we're going to get this contract to provide tech for these, and it's going to be great. Nvidia focused on producing tech for the smartphone market, which is infinitely bigger market, worth infinitely more, where people spend infinitely more money on their hardware. Like, people will balk at the idea of the launch cost of Xbox One and PS4, and after doing that will walk into a fucking smartphone shop and drop 600, 700, 800 bucks on a fucking phone. And what's in that phone? Tegra. Not fucking AMD shit. Like, Nvidia just, they make this, they seem to be the better company in a better position because they make the smarter plays. They understand the value of markets and the value of supplying those markets, and then they act accordingly. Like, that's from the outside looking in, that seems to be the way they play it. Like, they go where the money is. AMD go where Nvidia aren't, because they can exist there.
I gotta say, when the time comes that I need to make an upgrade, I'm going Nvidia. It comes back to what you had said earlier. It does offer more features for the gamer-centric person. So,
Yep.
It just seems to be the sensible option right now, with more and more devs using their stuff
right.
in the games.
Yeah. I love that. Droid that AMD partnered with BF4. Scanner, wasn't it you that made some fucking hilarious tweet about all the people that went AMD because of Battlefield 4, and then it just ended up being a shit turd? Like,
yeah, that was funny as fuck. It's like, oh, they've got Mantle, so I'm changing to AMD, so I'll have better frames. And it's like, okay, let me know how that goes.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I'm gonna, like, I just don't understand
Ninth
it.
game. Sorry.
Fuck you. It's been more than 9, bastards. Anyway,
Doesn't get old.
it does.
Alright, are we gonna announce this shit?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
that's-
that's actually a good
Oh,
point.
yeah.
So, alright, it's motherfucking giveaway time. We're giving away The Witcher 3 to one lucky individual. I've rigged it, so I'm going to win it, so y'all can fuck yourselves. Actually, I don't think I can win it. I didn't even
No,
enter.
you can't.
Didn't try, because that would just be really, really shitty on my part. So, Epona is going to the old random number generator. She's gonna generate the random number from the
Yep.
random number generator.
Random.org.
She's gonna pick said random number from people that retweeted the tweet, and whoever that lucky bitch is gonna get The Witcher 3.
Yep.
Squantoon,
Random.org.
yes, I know, it'll probably be 2 years before I play Witcher 3, but again, I will still be able to experience the glorious game that you guys brag about, but I'll probably pay like $5 or $10 for it. I'm okay with this. I will eventually get to it. Talk to me when you have a fucking wife and a kid.
Devious!
Devious, that motherfucker's in here too.
Is he?
He was earlier.
I think he just tweeted at us. Oh, 15 minutes ago he did.
What, the retweet?
No,
No.
he was responding.
Oh.
Already done, that's what he said.
No, I don't need a
Hey, he's
random
there.
generator.
Yay!
Yay! Hi, Devious! Nice, bro.
Nice. Cool. Alright, so, Divas, go
DM.
ahead and DM the Dawnbreaker Gaming Twitter account, and Epona will get you squared away with figuring out how to get that game.
Give me
to
your
you.
address, bro, and what platform you want it on. Well, actually, if you want it on PC, then don't give me your address. I'll just Steam it to you. But
So I hope he's not one of those people that like already had it, that tried to win it anyway. I don't
Oh.
like people who do that.
that would make me sad, but, you know, whatever. If you already have it, Devious, if you already had it, we can get you the expansion pass for it.
No.
Or something.
No. If he already has it, I'm calling shenanigans.
Oh, PC, perfect. Ah, no shipping charges. You're the best, bro. I tried to ask GOG if they had gifting yet, but they do not. And because I would prefer to buy it directly from them. But sadly, they don't have gifting. So we'll get that to you on Steam. I will Steam friend you.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So go ahead with the old DMs. You guys will get it all sorted. Other than that, thank you to everyone else that was watching tonight. We greatly appreciate it. I'm gonna try and do a community game night this weekend. We had Billy the Kid host one this past weekend. Was it on July 4th? Or was it the day before on the 3rd?
I think it was the
Battlefield
3rd.
3. Yeah, it seemed to go over pretty well. There's a good amount of people in there.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
Yep. Thank you again, Billy. And I'm going to try and host something for probably DayZ, because I didn't get to do the last/first DayZ community night we did 2 weeks ago that was hosted by Annoyed Droid. I'm going to try and get something up. Follow me at Snoo603, and I will get that figured out either tomorrow or Wednesday. It's usually when I know what my Friday looks like. We'll get it sorted. Other than that, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Anyone that's here that's new, if you're not following the page, please do so. We'd greatly appreciate it. You all have a wonderful night, and we will see you most likely this weekend for Community Game Night. Have a good night, everyone. And again, congrats to Devious.
Congrats and farewell, friends.